Ladies and gentlemen, we back at it again. In this video, we're going to talk about introverted intuition, aka NI. What it is, what it does, how it works, who uses it, how you can use it to your advantage, how to make it stronger, and how to overcome its weaknesses if you are an NI user. All of these questions and more are going to be answered in this video. Let's get right into it. Okay, so introverted intuition. It's all about willpower, passion, and desire. So extroverted intuition, we talked about that in the last video, how it takes in all this information to find the best probable outcome, the best route for the group as a whole. NE is individual possibilities. So they're taking all the information in to try to find the best possible path for themselves. It's similar to a wide angle lens and a telephoto lens. Extroverted intuition is like a wide angle lens to get the full picture, to get the big picture. The telephoto lens is like the individual. You want to focus in on one thing. So that's an analogy I like to use. Who uses it? These are the 8 personality types who have introverted intuition in their conscious mind. And I'm going to read this out for you guys listening on the podcast. So INFJ and INTJ, they have it in their hero function. ENFJ, ENTJ, they have it in their parent function. ISTP, ISFP, they have it in their child function. And the ESTP and ESFP, they have it in their inferior function. So these are the users who use NI or introverted intuition in their conscious mind. And for the rest of this presentation, we're just going to call it NI for short. Also, guys, you can download the slides to this presentation. Click the link down below if you want to download and follow along. Especially you guys that's listening in on the podcast, you can download and get some visual aids. Okay, so how to spot one. The NI user, as kids, they're usually kids that's the quiet kids in the back of the class. Okay? Oftentimes they wear glasses and they have the stare, the NI stare. There's a thing online, if you look it up, what is the NI stare? And that's another thing. So nature versus nurture. And that's another reason why when you take these personality tests, it's best to answer the questions how you would when you were a child before life changed you, because your nature is to stare. But nurture says it's not polite to stare. So coming up as a child, people are telling you, oh, don't stare at people. So, and that's just one example. So, but yeah, they wear glasses and they stare at people and they they very focused and listen to every word that you're saying. So it's called, people refer to it as the NI stare. Look it up. They wear glasses. So, and I don't know why, but it's just one thing that I noticed that a lot of NI users, they wear glasses. It's genetics. I mean, your personality is partially passed down to you through genetics. And I guess your poor eyesight is also partially passed down to you through genetics. So that's one thing I noticed. They wear glasses. They're alone time, quiet time. They want alone time and they need alone time. Like I said, they're introverts. So they need to be able to take time to step into themselves and process and update their thoughts throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the years as they develop. They need their quiet time. They use metaphors and analogies. So intuitives, extroverted intuition and introverted intuition, we're both intuitives. And we use a lot of metaphors and analogies. So I'm extroverted intuition. I'm an ENFP. An analogy that I use the early bird gets the worm. The second mouse gets the cheese. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. You know, people talk, numbers scream. We talk in analogies and metaphors. So introverted intuitives, they do the same thing. Your mind is like a laundry basket. Okay. I have a friend. She's an INFJ. And we were talking about how she gets analysis paralysis, how she always be thinking about things over and over again, and she just get overwhelmed. And I was telling her, listen, your mind is like a laundry basket. In a laundry basket, you don't sort the clothes out while they're in the laundry. You got to dump them out first, and then you can sort through them. Your mind is the same way. It's good to write your thoughts down and then be able to go back and review and sort through your thoughts and put them in order so you don't have the analysis paralysis. You don't get nothing done because you're an overthinker. Your mind is like a laundry basket. Dump your thoughts out just like you dump the laundry basket out. Sort through your thoughts the same way you sort through your clothes. That's a tip for you. Complementary with any users. Like I said earlier, we speak the same language. Intuitives, we use metaphors. Any often, okay, so we speak the same language. Oftentimes, the extroverted intuitive, we will say out loud the things that the introverted intuitive is thinking. So for example, I got a friend, Jung. We was all sitting around in the group and somebody was talking about something and then I asked a question. He was like, man, I'm glad you asked that question. He said, that's one thing I really like about you because you always end up asking the same question that I wanted to ask, but I didn't ask it. I'm an intuitive, he's an intuitive. I'm an extroverted intuitive, he's an introverted intuitive. I oftentimes will say out loud the things that he's thinking in his mind. Another example, we was on a bus, a church bus, and we was on this trip and they had the AC blasting and it was mad cold in there. And like in the group chat, everybody like communicating. And then I finally put in the group chat, I'm like, guys, can you please cut the AC off? It's mad cold back here. And after I put that message in the group chat, then you start seeing everybody else comment and saying, oh man, I'm glad you said it because I'm freezing too. I didn't want to say nothing, so I'm glad you said it. So yeah, we oftentimes, we speak the same language and I'll say out loud what they're thinking inside. NI is seeking the best path forward. NE provides multiple paths. Okay, so we talked about in the previous video how NE will take in all this information and lay out the options. The NI user will take those options that the NE user laid out to find a path forward, to find the best path forward for themselves. So my brother Taj, he also has a YouTube channel, and sometimes we talk about and strategize how to grow on YouTube. And I sent him this video, this guy, Gooby and Doobie. He was a neuroscientist or psychologist or something. But he quit his job and he made a video and it was like he was just standing there talking to the camera for like 45 minutes just talking. And I'm like, that's what people want to see. They want to see that authentic, that genuine. They just want to have people, people like reality TV is not really reality. It's so much set up and so much fakeness to reality TV. People like YouTube because you can get genuine, almost like a connection because you kind of feel connected. So anyway, I sent him that video. I gave him some suggestions. And when he implemented those suggestions, his channel was like, not saying that I'm totally the only thing that, influenced him to his channel to grow. But one of the things, I was a contributing factor, to help towards the growth of his channel. And that's what I'm saying. The NE user will find multiple paths, and then the NI user will choose the best path for themselves. So that's one way that you can spot them. NI users, they enjoy the journey more than the destination. They enjoy the steps that it takes more than they do actually arriving at the destination. The NI user pursues their goals with laser focus. The NI user pursues their goals with laser focus. And one thing that I've noticed talking to a lot of NI users, they like road trips. It's something about road trips, and I think it has something to do with enjoying the journey more than the destination. It's like the process of getting there. They enjoy that process more than they do actually when they arrive. The NI user wants to be a juggernaut, an unstoppable force of momentum just blasting through any obstacles that get in their way on their way to their destination, on the way to their goals. They pursue their goals with laser focus and they blot out anything that try to get in their way. They want to be like a juggernaut, especially like INTJs. I see like INFJs, they have that laser focus towards their goals, but INTJs specifically, I've seen these guys in action and they are like that. They're like a juggernaut. And it's crazy because a lot of times they're not like big, burly, muscular people. They be like little small people. And it's like, how you gonna be a juggernaut and you're so small? But yeah, there's that. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, some famous folks that are NI users. Benedict Cumberbatch, aka Doctor Strange from the Avengers series, aka Sherlock Holmes from the Netflix series. I love that Sherlock Holmes series with Benedict Cumberbatch. Nicole Kidman, J.K. Rowling from the Harry Potter books, and Elon Musk. These are some famous introverted intuitives. Okay, what are some positive attributes of the NI user? They're seeking the best path forward. They're very insightful and brainstorming new ideas. They're long-term planners, problem solvers, goal-oriented, passionate, We talked about that earlier, how they find the best goal for them and they pursue it with laser focus. They're able to be long-term planners and insightful. So the same thing, insightful with brainstorming new ideas, just like the introvert intuitive takes in a lot of information and they're able to come up with new ideas to a problem from a different angle that some people won't really pay attention to. Okay, so how to make your NI stronger? You can make it stronger by tapping into it. You can tap into it by scheduling time to have quiet time, to sit down and meditate. Okay, another thing you can do is to sleep on it. Before you make a big decision, take some time to sleep on it and don't, be spontaneous and impulsive. Take your time, think about it. If you have to, sleep on it before you make a big decision. So another thing you can do that we talked about earlier is writing stuff down so you can track progress of an idea, how it evolves over time. Step out of your comfort zone, feed your brain with new experiences, therefore feeding your intuition that you can draw on later. Feed your brain with new experiences. The more experiences you have, the better that you can call on those experiences from the past and use them in your present or future problem solving. Feed yourself with new experiences that will help you to tap into your NI and make it stronger. Okay, some weaknesses of the introverted intuitive, the NI user. Some weaknesses of the NI user are overthinkers. NI users can be overthinkers and they tend to suffer from analysis paralysis. It's called the NITI loop, where they're taking in all this information and then they're trying to figure out what's the best thing to do. And then they take in some more information and then try to figure out what's the best thing to do. And the whole time they're in their head, they're not getting nothing done. Analysis paralysis. They can be overthinkers. So some examples. There's, of course, if you guys have been into 16 personalities, you probably come across Frank James. And he talked about this time selling stuff on eBay. And I got a friend, the INFJ friend, who had a similar story about trying to sell stuff on eBay. And he was talking about how, oh, it's just one problem after another. Because I never sold nothing on eBay before and I want to sell this watch. Well, now I got to find a backdrop. I got to find a camera. I got to make sure I had the lighting set up. I got to make sure if I'm putting it on the blanket, I got to iron it out so it don't look messy. I got to have a good presentation. Then I got to figure out how to upload it, how to make a description, and how to do all of these things. They just overwhelmed from overthinking, analysis paralysis. So that's one weakness. We talked about NITI loop. They jump to conclusions. They take in data and try to... Okay, so when they try to take in all this data, they can sometimes jump to conclusions. And sometimes they seem like a know-it-all. A lot of times, sometimes these people will be, if you're trying to explain something to them, they'll say, oh, I know that. Oh, I already knew that. I already know that. And they constantly saying, oh, I already know that. Like one of my photography students, I had a student like that. So I teach photography. That's what these straps are, my camera straps. I'm using it so I can have this mic strapped to me. So one of my students kept saying, I was teaching him something, and he kept saying, oh, I already know that. I already know that. So then later, at the next lesson, it was some things that I didn't tell him. And then he came back and said, oh, why didn't you tell me that? I'm thinking to myself, well, you already know everything. I thought you already knew that. This was something so basic. I thought you already knew that. So try not to be one of these know-it-alls who keep on saying, I know, I know, I know. Even if you do know, just act like you don't know, because you're only hurting yourself. Just like my old student was only hurting himself by constantly saying, I know, I know, I know. Well, now you don't know. I was going to tell you, but you act like you know, so now you don't know. Another thing that NI users tend to be are perfectionists. They can be idealists, perfectionists that hold people up to a high standard that they can't even uphold themselves. They try to be, perfect, goody two-shoes and try to hold you up to a standard, but they can't even hold that standard themselves. How are you going to hold me to something that you can't do your own self? How are you expecting me to be perfect and you're not perfect? You need to be humble. You need to sit down. You need to meditate and stop being a know-it-all, because you're only hurting yourself. Another weakness of the NI user are they live in their heads and they lose focus on the outside world. These people oftentimes are bumping into stuff. They spilling stuff. They losing focus on what's going on around them. And another thing, I talk about the stare. A lot of times they will look like they're looking at you, but they're looking past you. Like I had a friend, another example, the same INFJ. We were at church and I thought we made eye contact and I gave her one of these. I gave them a little head nod, like, what's up? And they didn't respond. And I'm like, I know you saw me looking at you. You looked me right in my eyes, and I gave you the head nod. And I'm like, when I told them about it later, because I know the person, I know that they probably didn't do it on purpose, that they probably was just looking right through me like NI users tend to do. But I told them some months later, and they was like, oh, wow, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't even see you. And so that's one thing that you can, that's another way that you can notice. And like that's another thing that kind of gives them away. If you notice somebody who does that, who like, it seems like they're looking at you and they don't speak, the chances are they probably didn't even see you. They just living in their head and they be oblivious to what's going on around them. And sometimes people be like, oh, you think you all that? You walked right past me, you didn't even speak. No, honestly, they didn't even see you for real because they living in their head. Okay, so now that we're talking about the weaknesses, how can you overcome these weaknesses? One weakness that you can overcome is being burnt out. And the way to not get burned out is to calculate the energy that it's going to take to complete the task at hand. A lot of time NI users, they have it in their mind, they're going to do this certain thing. And then once they start to do it, they realize, oh, I didn't know I was going to have to do all of this. Kind of like with the eBay thing. So you want to calculate your current stamina and your current energy level and what it's going to take to complete this task before you even get started so you don't get burnt out. Get around some SI users like ISFJs or ISTJs who are very disciplined and organized. And you can learn discipline and organization from being around them. And that's another thing. Like, we're all connected. Like, all throughout your life and every part of your life, you have to interact with people. And where one person is weak, the other person may be strong. And where I'm weak, you may be strong. And we can cover each other's blind spots. So it's good to, if I'm an intuitive, to get around some sensors. So you NI users, it's good for you to get around some SI users who can help you to learn discipline and organization. And you can learn through osmosis, just from being around them, just from observing them, just from, watching how they work. Okay, another thing you can do is learn to be flexible. As you gain more knowledge, you can update your ideas. A lot of time NI users, they will get so stubborn and they have something in their mind and they start to go towards that plan. And then when that plan don't work, they will stubbornly continue on this plan that's not working. No. As you learn more, you can update your thoughts and you can do better. Once you know better, you can do better. Stop being so stubborn and sticking to a plan that's not working. Augment your plan. Make some modifications. Update your plan. As you grow, your plans grow. As your mind changes, and that's what people say, people look at the word change like it's a negative thing. Change is not a negative thing. It depends on how you're looking at it because when you grow, you change. So change is not necessarily a negative thing. Change is a neutral term. It's not necessarily a positive term or negative term because you could change for the negative or you could change for the positive. So, stop being so stubborn and update your plans, change your plans. If your original plan is not working, then change it. Plans have a way of going awry. Okay, so NI demon. This is a topic that can get kind of controversial, but we're going to talk a little bit about NI demon. So there are 4 parts to the mind. In each part of the mind, there are 4 cognitive functions at use. So you have your conscious mind, which aka your ego, which you show to the world, your conscious mind, then your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, and your superego. Now in your conscious mind is where your inferior function lies. Your inferior function is the gateway to your unconscious mind. Now, the way that the NI demon, so in the unconscious mind, the way that you trigger the NI demon is through worry. When an NI user gets worried, that NI demon, triggering the NI demon of the NI user, what does it look like? It looks like selfishness. It looks like selfishness because the NI user is all about finding the best path forward for themselves. And when they get worried, when they get triggered, they start to get selfish. It's like the kid in the candy store. If you don't give him a choice, he wants some candy, and you don't let him get candy. Oh, if I can't get what I want, then nobody ain't getting what they want. If I can't have this candy, then I'm tearing all the candy apart, and he having a temper tantrum and knocking everything off the shelves and screaming and hollering, yelling, having a temper tantrum. That is what the NI demon looks like when it's triggered. Another thing that the NI demon looks like, it looks like debauchery, lasciviousness, indulging in all manner of sensory pleasures and hedonism. Because the NI is about desire and passion. An unhealthy NI user who's triggered their NI demon, they get into all kind of lasciviousness and decadence and debauchery, if you know what I mean. A lot of times, if you look on that channel, Soft White Underbelly, a lot of times these people, they were vulnerable. Somebody preyed on their vulnerabilities and triggered their NI demon. Now you end up on Soft White Underbelly. It's a sad sight to see. So what can you do? You need to dedicate your life to something meaningful. Dedicate your life to something meaningful, something that's bigger than yourself. And don't allow people to prey on your vulnerabilities and get you worried and trigger your NI demon. Next thing you know, you're on Soft White Underbelly. And like I said, it's a sad sight to see. Not only have I seen it on YouTube, but I've seen it in my own life. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen the NI demon triggered and fallen into debauchery and lasciviousness and decadence and all manner of sensory pleasures and hedonism. I've seen it, and it's a sad sight to see. Something so beautiful turned to be something so turned into blight. Something so beautiful turned into blight. It's a sad sight to see. But that's a topic for another video. Guys, follow me, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok, follow me on IG. You can download these slides at the link down below. Even there's a slide, once you get the download, there'll be a slide that's empty where you can keep notes and take notes. And leave some comments and questions down below. I'll try to answer them for the Sunday live stream. And that's it for this video. Oh, check out the playlist. Check out the playlist. This is only one of the 8 cognitive functions. I have a playlist with all 8. So click over here, check out that playlist, and I'll see you over there. Peace.